Hey, this is Warren Redlick with a Lucid Motors update. Now, I am wearing the insanely gigantic t-shirt, but this is not insanely gigantic news. Lucid Motors put out a video about their DreamDrive, their ADAS system, Advanced Driver Assistance System, that they claim they're going to have in their vehicle. At the same time, they filed something with the SEC that they may have wanted to distract people from, and that may be why they put the DreamDrive video up. Let's talk more about it. Are you ready? Let's go! It starts with this video. Here's the very quick opening.
This is Lucid Air.
That is Lucid Air. There's more. Are you ready?
And this is DreamDrive, our ultra-intuitive advanced driver assistance system. Think of DreamDrive as your invisible co-pilot.
Ultra-intuitive, advanced. They use big words. They don't give a lot of details, but there's more coming. This is what Lucid is working on. This is an advanced driver assistance system. A lot of modern luxury cars have ADAS systems. Tesla, of course, has FSD, has Navigate on Autopilot, and has Autopilot. Lucid's going to pitch this as somehow the best system on the roads when, of course, it's not even on the roads yet. But let's watch a little bit more.
DreamDrive Pro, the most comprehensive version of DreamDrive, has over 30 features that enhance your driving experience, with many more coming soon.
Over 30 features that enhance your driving experience. How many do you think they're going to tell us about in this video? I'm going to give you a hint. They claim there's 30 features. They're going to tell us about 2 that are going to be in the active system. They're going to tell us about 2 that I caught. Maybe there's more I didn't catch, but that's what they're telling us about. Let's go further.
The first thing you'll notice about DreamDrive is that you'll hardly notice it at all. It's so smooth and sleek that the learning curve to unlock its incredible features is virtually non-existent.
Okay, I still don't know what it does. It's smooth and sleek. A lot of adjectives. This is one of the things that's characteristic of Lucid's promo stuff. There's a lot of adjectives that make it sound great without giving you any substance behind it. There's no learning curve to unlock its features. Well, what exactly does it do? And the answer is there's no learning curve because there's nothing to do, because there's not a whole lot of features there really. But let's see some more.
It has an impressive 32 sensors, all seamlessly integrated into the design that see things the human eye cannot. And with a fully comprehensive vision package, short and long-range radars, an array of ultrasonic sensors, and state-of-the-art LiDAR technology, DreamDrive's ability to precisely scan and pinpoint everything around you is uncanny.
Okay, so as far as we know, none of the stuff is actually in any of the cars. And the fact that it has this big sensor suite, Tesla has 8 cameras, Tesla has a whole bunch of ultrasonic sensors. It doesn't really use anything else. So cameras and ultrasonics. Ultrasonics are the things that are on the edge of the car that look to see if something's really close to the car so that you don't like scrape a wall or something like that. Or scrape a car that you're parking next to. The cameras, I believe Lucid is claiming 12 or 13 cameras, where Teslas have 8 or 9 if you count the cabin camera that might be looking at the driver. And then LiDAR is this big pitch that people have been making. And if you follow Tesla, you know that Tesla's use of Tesla's vision system with 8 cameras, they developed something called pseudo LiDAR, that they are able to basically emulate LiDAR without having to spend the money on the LiDAR system or use the electricity in the battery to power the LiDAR system. The claim that they have all these sensors and that somehow makes it better misses the point that we've learned with Tesla FSD, that if you have the right number of sensors, it can be a smaller number of sensors. It's really a question of having the computer hardware and software to process the data coming in and process it effectively. We don't know anything about what hardware and software Lucid claims they're going to use for their DreamDrive system. We don't know what chips they're using. We don't know what software they're using. Is it hand-coded? Is it neural network trained? We don't know. They don't say. Let's listen to some more.
On the highway, DreamDrive really shines. Because Lucid Air is one of the only EVs with LiDAR, a high-resolution laser scanner, DreamDrive's sensing capabilities are remarkable. With LiDAR and the rest of the sensor suite working together, DreamDrive is among the most advanced ADAS systems when it comes to object detection, display accuracy, and safety.
One of the most advanced ADAS systems. Okay, so let's be clear. As far as we know, Lucid doesn't actually have a functioning ADAS system. I did ask, and we're going to cover this a little later, I did ask Ryan from Kilowatts and Ricky from 2-Bit DaVinci what they saw of it when they were at the Lucid event. I believe it does have some of these ADAS features, but it's very limited, and they didn't show a lot of it to anyone as far as I've seen. But to claim we have one of the most advanced ADAS systems, there's no substance behind that claim. And the need for LiDAR, I'm driving Tesla FSD. I've driven it a bunch of times. I'm driving it now. Tesla FSD is pretty amazing. It sees everything on the road 360 degrees very, very effectively. I don't see what LiDAR would add to that. It knows where all the cars are around me all the time. It picks up pedestrians. It picks up all kinds of things. And more importantly than detecting them with the cameras, it actually is able to process that information and have a much better idea of what they are and what they might do. It's not just a question of detecting objects. It's also a question of identifying what they are and what they might be likely to do. What trajectory are they likely to follow? If you detect a stop sign, you can be pretty sure. You want to know that it's a stop sign so that you stop, and you can be pretty sure it's not going to move. Not 100% sure, because believe it or not, some stop signs move. But if you detect a pedestrian, you want to have a good idea where's that pedestrian going, because you don't want to hit pedestrians. You want the car to predict where that pedestrian is going to go, and you want that car to be careful around pedestrians. If you just detect that it's an object and you don't figure out what it's going to do, you haven't added that much value. Let's see some more.
Highway Assist helps you maintain optimal positioning on the freeway. Lane centering control specifically takes care of your in-lane positioning, while Adaptive Cruise Control helps you effortlessly maintain a consistent and safe distance from the vehicle in front of you.
So none of this stuff is anything special, right? Tesla has lane keeping. Tesla has Adaptive Cruise Control that checks how far stuff is in front, the car in front of you is, and makes sure you don't hit them. And other car companies have that. That's not rocket science stuff. That's fairly straightforward stuff. So how is this more advanced than anybody else's ADAS system? Really unclear. Nice voice. Nice video, nice visuals. Where's the substance to these claims? Doesn't exist. Let's watch a little more.
DreamDrive also uses surreal sound, Lucid Air's fully immersive 21-speaker system, to deliver clear directional alerts. This enhances safety features like front and rear cross-traffic protection and autonomous emergency braking.
I don't get how alerts to the driver are going to help with autonomous braking. If the car's going to brake itself, then having a sound system alert the driver of some object, I don't see how that helps at all. It's really unclear what the benefit of that was. If you listen to how they connected the dots, let's listen to that again. Listen to what they say, what the feature is, that it gives some sort of sound clues to where objects are using the sound system of the car. I don't know how useful that is, if it's useful at all. But then how does that translate to actual benefit for the operation of the vehicle?
DreamDrive also uses surreal sound, Lucid Air's fully immersive 21-speaker system, to deliver clear directional alerts. This enhances safety features like front and rear cross-traffic protection and autonomous emergency braking.
See, I don't know what front and rear cross protection is. I think the idea is that if you have a good ADAS system, if it detects a threat, it stops or it avoids the threat. It avoids the collision itself. So, if you're trying to communicate to the driver what's going on, that's one thing. The driver's in control of the vehicle. If you're saying that the system is going to avoid an accident, then the sound clues inside the car don't matter at all. So this didn't really make sense. Let's keep going.
Autonomous Park-In identifies parallel and perpendicular parking spots and provides full control as it enters or exits a spot. It selects your gears, steers, accelerates, and decelerates. Using park distance warning, DreamDrive can show you the actual distances from detected objects. They're beautifully displayed on your screen to remove all guesswork. So no matter how crammed, tight, or crowded the parking situation, DreamDrive makes it happen.
So that one's kind of like, so what? Lots of cars have ultrasonics, can detect what's near you. If the car's parking itself, why does it matter whether it tells you how close things. This is like a lack of understanding. If the car is parking itself, the car telling you how close it is to objects is irrelevant because the car is doing the parking. And I don't know if you noticed, but when the car did this parking effort, it took 2 passes. It didn't do it in 1 pass. It had to straighten out and do it again. That's not spectacular. I mean, I have to do that sometimes too, but I don't see how that's spectacular. This is a mundane feature that many luxury cars already have. It doesn't really seem to add that much. And it wasn't a parallel parking move either, which I think some cars can do. So was this really a big deal? Nice voice, nice visuals. Is there really some substance here? I'm not hearing it. Let's check out some more.
Driving. Soon, enhancements to Highway Assist like Lane Change Assist will be available. And eventually, Highway Pilot with hands-off, eyes-off automated driving, plus remote control features like automated park pilot will be available too.
So this is this claim that somewhere in the future, they're going to have, the ability to change lanes. I don't know if it was like it changes lanes on its own or it's lane change assist. Wasn't really clear about that, but Tesla FSD Beta already makes lane changes without even asking you. Navigate on autopilot will suggest a lane change and ask you to confirm. So this already exists on Tesla cars. Lucid is someday in the future going to ship these features, and then someday it's going to ship totally hands-free. You don't have to pay attention driving. When? Lucid doesn't have a team. Like Tesla has a team, the AI team that's working on this. Mobileye has a team that's working on this. Comma has a team that's working on this. Lucid doesn't have any of this. Where is this coming from? They have a sensor suite, and they have a car that, can be electronically controlled. But they don't have any of the computing hardware in particular that would be necessary to make this work. As far as we know, I haven't heard yet, well, what kind of compute do you have in the car? Do you have neural network chips in the car? What's in here that's going to make this work? Really not clear. And that's not a software update. That's a hardware update. If you don't have the chips in the car now to operate self-driving, then you're going to have to install those chips. And is the car even set to have that kind of chipset installed? Is that even built in? We don't know. All right, last clip from this video.
To truly understand the power of DreamDrive, you have to experience it for yourself. As the smoothest, most intuitive, and most stunningly beautiful ADAS system out there.
These are pretty big claims. Ryan from Kilowatts went to the Lucid event recently. I asked them to compare it to Tesla's Navigate on Autopilot, which if you paid for FSD, you have Navigate on Autopilot. And Ryan said adaptive cruise control and lane keep were great, but beyond that, we didn't experience other features during our 40-minute test drive. So they have adaptive cruise control, which just basically means don't hit the car in front of you and try to keep up to the car in front of you. And lane keep, which is keep it in the same lane. That's not a particularly novel feature. He didn't say it's better than Navigate on Autopilot. And Navigate on Autopilot will suggest lane changes, so Navigate on Autopilot is pretty clearly more capable than what Lucid has so far. I also asked Ricky for his opinion about whether it was better than Navigate on Autopilot, and Ricky did not give a straight answer to the question, suggested we go live at some point. And I don't do live streams with interviews on Sundays anymore, so I just suggested we do it towards the end of the year, early next year, when we actually have whether Lucid delivers cars or not. I also asked Ryan from Kilowatts about this, and I said, hey, you experienced lane keeping and dynamic cruise control, and I asked, was it the smoothest, most intuitive, and stunningly beautiful ADAS systems out there, which is the language that Lucid used in that clip I just showed you? Neither one of them has answered that question. I don't know how an ADAS system can be stunningly beautiful. I don't know why an ADAS system would be intuitive, or how you would notice that. It just runs. I don't know how it would be more intuitive than another system. I don't know what it means by smooth. What situations do they put it in? But neither Ryan nor Ricky came back with an answer, at least so far. I just checked a few minutes ago. So what's really going on? If you ask me, a lot of the stunts that Lucid has been doing, and this is an opinion, just to be clear, this is an opinion, a lot of Lucid's recent stunts have been distractions to avoid dealing with the fact that they haven't delivered a car yet, and that they're playing other games. And we discovered there's another game that they just played. They just filed a document with the SEC. This is called an 8K. This is a report of a transaction. What's the transaction? On October 8th, Lucid repurchased nearly 1 million shares, 857,000 shares of stock from certain individuals at a price of $24.15 a share. This is Lucid spending about $20 or $21 million buying stock from employees and directors. It claims that the repurchase were effected solely to allow the individual sellers to satisfy certain tax obligations. Okay, that's a claim connected to shares. They're connected to them selling shares of preferred stock from Ativa, the predecessor company to Lucid, back in April. They claim that the company applied the proceeds of the transactions to remitting required tax withholding to the tax authorities. We can't know, presumably this is true. Well, we don't know that for sure, but the individual sellers included Peter Rawlinson, this is the CEO of the company, selling nearly 180,000 shares. Eric Bach, the senior vice president and chief engineer, who sold nearly 200,000 shares. These guys both sold about $4 million in Lucid stock each, or they pocketed $4 million in exchange for stock that's presumably worth $4 million. Now, I'll just ask you this question. You are the CEO or you are the chief engineer of this company, and you believe your company is going to have runaway growth, and it's going to be spectacularly valuable, and it's currently valued at $40 billion, and you think it's going to be worth $400 billion in a few years, would you sell $4 million of stock, or would you hold it? The fact that these two key insiders sold $4 million of stock each is dubious. That seems like an odd choice. You would think they would hold on to every share they could if they believe this company is going where they say it's going. This is not a sign of a commitment on the part of the CEO and the chief engineer in their belief in the company that they're selling $4 million each of stock, that they could hold, find a way to hold, borrow money, whatever you got to pay your tax obligations. You could borrow money to pay your tax obligations. There's ways around it. And then you'd hold the stock, and as it 10x's, you're going to make a lot more money. To me, that's not a sign of deep belief in the company. Also at the bottom here, it says that the board of directors exempted the repurchases from a rule that would have prevented the holders from transferring their shares until January 19, 2022. So this allowed stock that was supposed to be locked up to be sold earlier than expected. And one dark take on this would be that they're cashing out before it blows up. If Lucid knows, if the insiders know that they're not going to deliver cars this year, if they know they're going to disappoint Wall Street and shareholders with bad news towards the end of the year, that they're not really, because I've been saying all along, they're not going to deliver cars this year. I don't know if they're ever going to deliver a car. We just saw in the Road and Track article that the front suspension isn't really ready. There's other issues with this car. Are they really ready to deliver cars? We don't know. If they end up not delivering cars this year, that's going to be a massive hit to the stock price because they've been bragging about this all along and getting out now at $24 a share. If it's going to drop to $12 a share in a few weeks, is a really good move for Peter Rawlinson and Bach, the two insiders who sold the most. That and the other insiders, because there's a total of $20 million, they're only $8 million. So there's another $12 million out there that wasn't really specified in much depth. Some insiders cashed in on the current share price at $24. And if I'm correct, we're going to see bad news. The stock's going to dip, and these guys made a bundle at the expense of current shareholders and people who've been fooled into buying this stock recently. That's an opinion. You guys can have your own opinions. But that's my Lucid Motors update. Fairly brief one. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you to the Vasa Law Firm in Sweden, all my Patreon supporters for helping the channel grow. Please check out the t-shirts and the other merch at elonbits.com. Check out my other videos. And thank you so much for watching.